When you serve your country, you expect the worst from the battlefield, not your own bedroom. I was 6 months into a 9-month deployment in Iraq when the first crack showed. It came in the form of a short message from my buddy Jeremy back home. "Hey man, you might want to check Cassidy's socials. Something feels off." I stared at the message under the dim red light of my bunk. I hadn't talked to Cassidy in 2 days. She claimed she was working late, a lot. So I waited until my next window for Wi-Fi and pulled up her Instagram. My blood ran cold. There she was, Cassidy, my wife of 3 years, the woman who kissed me goodbye at the airport, laughing at a rooftop bar with a man I'd never seen. But it wasn't just one photo. They were everywhere: brunches, hikes, wine tastings. Her captions? "Finally living again. Someone who sees me." And the comments from her friends? "You deserve this. So happy for you, girl. You two are a vibe." A vibe. I was serving in 118-degree heat, dodging mortar fire, and she was having picnics with a guy in loafers and a Patagonia vest. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I screenshotted everything, logged it, and kept my head down. The worst part wasn't the affair itself, it was how easy she made it look. She erased me as if I were just a phase. I stopped emailing her. She didn't notice. A month later, she sent a cold message. "We need to talk. I've changed. This isn't working anymore." She changed? No apology. No guilt. Just a shift in her brand. I didn't reply. I filed for divorce the moment I returned stateside. His name was Hudson Baxter. A venture capitalist turned wellness tech entrepreneur. Real Instagram quote energy. Meditated at sunrise. Called coffee toxic. The type who thinks suffering is optional and hard work is for the unenlightened. The moment I saw his LinkedIn profile, I knew, this guy thought he had won. He got the girl, the house, and the narrative. She even posted some nonsense a month later. Sometimes the universe takes you from pain to peace. I'm finally home. I spent a few months reassembling myself, physically, mentally, emotionally. Then something unexpected happened. A college friend, Carl, reached out. He was a tech investor in the Valley now. Said he was looking for partners on some new AI health startup. Guess who the startup founder was? Hudson. Different name. Different branding. Same smug face. He didn't know I existed. Didn't know my name. Didn't know my war-trained patience. So I smiled, shook Carl's hand, and said, "Count me in." I didn't tell Carl about Cassidy or Hudson. That would make it personal. And this wasn't personal, not anymore. This was war. Carl walked me through the structure. Hudson was the face of Thermamind, but most of the actual operations were run by a small team of coders and wellness freaks who had no idea what they were doing. They had the pitch deck. They had charisma. What they didn't have: control. Carl and I drafted the deal. He was the face of the investor group. I was the money behind it, filtered through a private holding company I had quietly built with my deployment pay, investments, and a side consulting business I started in Germany. Nobody saw me coming. Especially not Hudson. 2 months after the divorce was finalized, I received a text from Cassidy. "I saw your name on Carl's LinkedIn. Are you involved in Thermamind?" I stared at the message. After months of silence, after she left me in the dust while I risked my life in uniform, now she wanted to connect? I let the message sit. Then I typed, "Yeah, I invest in lots of things." No emoji. No warmth. Just facts. She didn't reply. But she would. Sooner than she thought. I moved cities. Took a position consulting for a security firm. Got into CrossFit. Therapy. Golf. Let my beard grow in. Stopped shaving my sides like the military wanted. Started looking like a man who survived something, because I had. And slowly, without fanfare, I watched from a distance as Hudson's shiny new world began to crack. First he missed product deadlines. Then a developer quit, apparently after Hudson tried to explain grit by quoting the subtle art of not giving a schmuck. Their launch was delayed. Revenue missed projections. Cassidy, always drawn to the flame of success, had begun to look dimmer too. Her posts slowed. Her friends weren't commenting anymore. But I wasn't done watching. Not yet. Carl mentioned they were planning a Founders' Day celebration for Thermamind's 2nd anniversary in August, just 3 months away. He wanted all major investors flown in for the event. There would be speeches, a company dinner, press coverage. That would be the day. The day I pulled the curtain back. The day Cassidy and Hudson learned who was really behind the lights, the paychecks, the board meetings, the man they thought they buried. But first I had some groundwork to lay. I looked at my calendar and circled the date, August 18th. Founders' Day. The end of their dream, and the beginning of my masterpiece. I wasn't going to lift a finger to hurt them. I was just going to give them the stage and let them burn on it. I've always believed the best revenge is the kind that doesn't look like revenge at all. The kind that sneaks in, shakes hands, signs deals, and smiles while building the gallows. So when I invested in Thermamind, I didn't come in loud. I didn't demand a seat. I bought my way in through Carl, my old college friend who had no clue about my history with Hudson or Cassidy. Carl was the perfect front. Likeable, successful, and trusted in the startup world. I was the ghost behind the curtain. The deal closed in May. By June, I owned 35% of Thermamind. Carl had 10%. The rest was divided among minor investors and Hudson's original co-founders, one of whom had already left after vision differences. Translation: Hudson was a control freak who thought buzzwords were strategy. I wasn't just a silent investor. I became the shadow operator. Every strategic move, Carl ran it by me. Every major decision, I approved it behind the scenes. And Hudson? Still walking around like the king of his little empire. Hudson's biggest flaw, aside from sleeping with married women, was ego. He didn't realize how close the wolves were. I started slowly. I froze his budget for marketing. I restructured his product team, claiming they needed optimization. I approved a new regional expansion, but relocated Hudson to Phoenix to personally oversee the growth. Let's be honest, no tech bro wants to leave the Bay Area for a sauna. Hudson didn't see the power shift because no one told him. He kept thinking Carl was calling the shots. But Carl called me. Every single time. Right around early July, I got a LinkedIn message from Cassidy. Hey, I heard Thermamind is looking for new admin staff. I just got laid off from Bodega Health. Any chance I can send you my resume? I stared at that message for a long time. Let me translate. I blew up our marriage. Left you for a guy in yoga pants. It didn't work out. Help me. Now, a man with less control might have cursed her out or ignored her. Me. I replied politely. Sure. I'll forward it to the hiring team. Let's see what comes up. What came up? A listing for executive admin level 2, directly supporting the senior admin to the board. In short, she'd be the assistant to my assistant. And the pay? Just enough to cover rent. Not enough to feel proud of. She accepted the job in 2 days. Cassidy started in late July. I made sure I wasn't in the office that day. I didn't want her to recognize me yet. I had grown a beard, lost weight, changed my wardrobe. I looked like a man reborn. She worked directly under Tina, my senior admin, who I had briefed fully. Tina didn't say a word about me. Instead, she kept Cassidy busy with the most demeaning tasks. Printing 300 copies of investor decks. Booking car services for interns. Cleaning out Hudson's old office in San Francisco. Running coffee orders for board meetings she wasn't invited to. From the reports I got, she was humbled. Not broken, not yet, but definitely wondering how she got here. As August rolled in, so did the final phase. Founders' Day was set for August 18th. The company was throwing a cocktail party at a sleek rooftop venue in San Jose. All execs. All investors. All senior staff. Cassidy would be working the event. Coat check and refreshments. And Hudson? Flying in from Phoenix to give the state of the company's speech, completely unaware that the state had shifted from his company to mine. I even approved a small feature in a local tech publication about Thermamind's investors. I made sure the author spelled out. Majority stakeholder, D. Crosswell via Orion Strategic Holdings. That's me. Founders' Day arrived. I wore a clean navy suit. No tie. Gold cufflinks. The kind of look that whispers power. Cassidy was by the bar, pouring Prosecco into flutes. She glanced up when I walked in and froze. She didn't recognize me at first. Then I saw it, the slow dawning behind her eyes. I smiled, raised a glass, then walked straight past her. An hour later, the MC called for attention. Please welcome our majority investor and guiding force behind Thermamind's next chapter, Mr. Daniel Crosswell. Her jaw dropped. Hudson across the room actually spit out his drink. I took the mic. Spoke warmly about innovation, vision, resilience. Then I said, I've always believed in 2 things, discipline and second chances. This company gave me both. I look forward to elevating the team that reflects those same values. Everyone clapped. Cassidy? She didn't. Because she knew. I had rebuilt everything she threw away. And she had to bring me drinks while I toasted the future. Hudson tried to corner me after the Founders' Day speech. I could see the panic behind his forced smile, the twitch in his jawline as he extended his hand. Daniel, I didn't realize you were involved at this level. I shook his hand with the same calm I had when inspecting a half-buried IED. I like to stay behind the scenes. Less noise, more results. His laugh was hollow. He wanted to ask questions. Who I was, what I wanted, how long I'd been there. But he didn't. Because deep down he already knew. The game had shifted. He just wasn't the one moving the pieces anymore. Within a week of the party, I called for an emergency board review. Performance was down. Burn rate was high. We needed to restructure. Hudson, as chief visionary, had no measurable KPIs. His title was invented. His results? Embarrassing. We voted 4-1 to demote him to regional product consultant. His pay was slashed by 45%. He lost access to the company jet. His office? Gone. He still had a job, sure. But his pride? Dead. He called Carl. Begged him to overturn it. Carl said, "I don't make those decisions anymore. You'll need to talk to Crosswell." He never did. Cassidy's life spiraled just as fast. Without Hudson's salary, she struggled. Her apartment lease wasn't renewed. She moved into a basement sublet. She started taking freelance admin work on weekends just to afford groceries. Tina, my senior assistant, reported everything. Cassidy complained about toxic workplace energy. She cried in the bathroom. She blamed her coworkers, Hudson, capitalism, everyone but herself. She still hadn't connected the final dots. But that moment was coming. One day in early September, Tina handed Cassidy a stack of folders to organize. In that stack, deliberately slipped in, was a report on shareholder changes. It was routine documentation. Legal language. But it clearly stated, majority stakeholder, Daniel Crosswell. She stared at it for 10 minutes according to Tina. Didn't blink. Then she dropped the folder. Ran outside. And threw up in the parking lot. Tina texted me. It hit her. Good. That night I got an email from Cassidy. Subject line, please. I know everything now. I was wrong about you. I messed up our life. I let someone come between us who didn't deserve to be there. I don't expect forgiveness, but I need to say I'm sorry. You didn't deserve what I did to you. Can we talk? I didn't reply. Instead, I forwarded the message to Tina with one note. Print. Frame. Put it in my office. Late September, Hudson tried one last move. He requested a one-on-one meeting with me. I allowed it. He walked into the room with a manila folder. Ideas, he said. A new strategy. I listened. Nodded. Then I leaned forward. Hudson. Do you remember a woman named Cassidy? Cooper? He froze. Didn't speak. I smiled. You knew she was married. You didn't care. You thought a guy like me, a soldier halfway across the world, was disposable. You were wrong. He stood up fast. Stormed out. Didn't come back the next day. Or the next. 2 weeks later, his resignation letter arrived in HR. By October, Cassidy was barely speaking to anyone. She kept her head down. Took her tasks without complaint. She was a shell of the person who once posted champagne brunches with Free Spirit Life. So I gave her a raise. Then another. Moved her to a better office. Let her think, maybe she had a future here. Then I transferred her. To Hudson's old post, Phoenix. Same apartment complex. Same title. No authority. It was the final twist of the knife. She would live in the hollow of the world she helped destroy, the kingdom made of lies now under new ownership. Months later, I started dating someone new. Not just anyone. Her younger sister, Nadia. Nadia who always liked me. Nadia who told me Cassidy was cheating before I even believed it. Nadia who said I deserved someone who saw my scars and still called them beautiful. We didn't go public immediately. But when we posted our engagement in March, I made sure the caption read, "Sometimes the one meant for you was in the background, watching you survive." Cassidy didn't comment. But she saw it. I know she did. 2 years. That's how long it's been since I became the villain in my ex-wife's redemption story. The problem she couldn't fix. The curse she unknowingly triggered when she climbed into bed with a man she barely knew while I was still dodging bullets and sandstorms. I told myself I'd get even. I told myself I'd make her feel it. But I didn't expect to enjoy it this much. Nadia stirs beside me, her hair tangled, my dog tags resting between her shoulder blades. Yeah, I sleep just fine at night. I never meant for things with Nadia to go beyond the twisted satisfaction of proximity. She hated Cassidy more than I did. Said she always sensed the narcissism, the fake tears, the constant need for validation. She even admitted to covering for her once during their teens, lying to their parents about where Cassidy really was when she snuck off with some older guy in college. Nadia was quiet, a little cold, and didn't pretend to be sweet. She called herself the ugly sister. I told her she was the honest one. Now, she wears my shirts around my house and drinks her coffee from my #OneVeteran mug. The irony? She's the only person who ever asked what it felt like to come home and find everything gone. Not just the marriage but the respect. The dignity. The illusion that loyalty actually meant something. Thermamind is expanding. We recently acquired 2 wellness startups and an AI-driven analytics firm in Singapore. Cassidy is still on payroll. I promoted her to Field Marketing Strategist, a completely fake title that gives her just enough of a reason to show up to work thinking she matters. Last month, I sent her on a week-long assignment in Jakarta with no translator, no contacts, and no warning. She cried on the phone to HR. Said she felt unsafe and disrespected. HR forwarded the email to me. I replied, "She's resilient. She'll adjust." And she did. Because she has no choice. Cassidy's trapped in a maze where every path leads back to me. She doesn't know why she keeps losing. She doesn't realize she's in a game I designed. We skipped the usual holiday party this year. Instead, I threw a Q3 appreciation dinner in August, big ballroom, free bar, the works. Nadia helped plan it. She wore a deep red dress and a diamond necklace I had custom-made from the same jeweler Cassidy once begged me to visit during our honeymoon. Cassidy was there, of course. She stood in the back, watching her sister glide around the room with a confidence Cassidy could never fake. Every man looked at Nadia. Every woman envied her silence, her poise, the way she rested her hand on my arm like she owned me. Because she does. When the live band played our song, the same one from Cassidy's and my wedding, I danced with Nadia in front of everyone. When the music ended, we kissed. Cassidy left early. We didn't say goodbye. A week later, Nadia and I hosted a private dinner for senior execs. Cassidy wasn't invited. She showed up anyway. When she cornered Nadia near the restroom and asked her point-blank what the hell she was doing with me, Nadia just blinked and said, "Fixing what your poor taste broke." Then she walked away. No smirk. No gloating. Just cold, perfect delivery. When Nadia returned, she looked peaceful. Like someone who had closed a wound from childhood. I asked her what she said. She shrugged. "Just told her that karma has a name," she said, finishing her wine. "And that he sleeps in my bed." Cassidy didn't come back to work the next day. Or the day after that. She's still technically employed. I just stopped assigning her anything. She shows up. Clocks in. Sits at her desk like a ghost. Now let's talk about Hudson. After I started bleeding his startup dry from the inside, Hudson rage quit Thermamind. Thought he was escaping. I let him go, even gave him a reference. A glowing one. Then I made sure he never worked in tech again. Oh. I bought every investor connection linked to his name and privately blacklisted him. Not officially. That'd be traceable. But whisper networks are a powerful thing. The next thing he knew, every pitch ended in "We'll get back to you." They never did. He tried launching a podcast, Startup Warrior. It tanked in 5 episodes. Reviews were brutal. Like listening to your ex talk about potential. Therapy disguised as content. Bro, just get a job. When the money ran out, he started teaching online business courses through a shady e-learning platform. One of those affiliate schemes where you mentor broke college kids into becoming copy-paste hustlers. Last I checked, he was renting out his car for Uber on weekends, and still making LinkedIn posts about resilience. Meanwhile, I bought the apartment building he lives in. Raised rent. Installed a squeaky elevator. Removed the gym equipment and replaced it with a single jump rope. Petty? Absolutely. But I call it art. It's sad. I almost pity him. Almost. Oh, and one last thing. Nadia's pregnant. We haven't told anyone yet, but when she placed the test on my desk, there were no words, no speech, but I felt something shift inside me. Not regret. Not panic. Relief. Because I've done what few men get to do. I took the wreckage of my past and used it to build something bulletproof. I already bought the nursery furniture. Had the room painted. Nadia doesn't want to know the gender. I don't care either way. Because boy or girl, that child will grow up knowing this. Their father went to war, came home broken, and still outmaneuvered every enemy life threw at him. Including the one who once wore white and promised forever. My ex-wife gave up everything for lust. Her sister gave me everything without asking for a thing in return. And now, the child Cassidy once promised to give me, the future she stole from me, is being carried by the woman she discarded as invisible. Ironic, right? People always say, let karma handle it. Live well. That's the best revenge. Nah. I live loud. I live calculated. And I make sure the people who buried me know they only planted a smarter monster. Sometimes karma's too slow. Sometimes you have to become karma yourself. Calculated, composed, and patient enough to let them dig their own graves. And then, just when they think they're crawling out of it, by the road they have to walk on. And make sure every step they take feels like regret. Don't just move on. You bury them. Alive.